If you really want to beat the stock market and make the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time, growth ETFs are probably what you want to be invested in. Not only do they invest in companies that are supposed to grow at a pace much faster than any other companies, but by investing in the ETF rather than any one individual company, you're diversifying your portfolio and being a responsible investor by keeping your risk lower while increasing your upside big time. This video is going to go over 3 growth ETFs that you've probably never heard of. Each one of these are exciting for different reasons, so I'll give you my reasoning as to why I'm highlighting these, and give you all the metrics and fun facts so it's all packaged up nicely for you to continue your research on what types of investments make the most sense for your investing portfolio. My name is Nolan Govea. My students call me Professor G, and I made this channel to make investing simplified. We can all agree that the S&P 500 is an amazing index. So far year to date, it's up about 15%, which is great. This first ETF is crushing it at up almost 35% year to date, which is beating the likes of the more famous growth ETF QQQ and VGT, the technology ETF. The first growth ETF on this list is one that tracks the S&P 500, but with a twist. It's designed to measure the performance of approximately 100 stocks in the S&P 500 index that have the highest momentum score. In general, momentum is the tendency of an investment to exhibit persistence in its relative performance. Spmo is the Invesco S&P 500 Momentum ETF, and it has a 5-year average annual appreciation of almost 18% per year. It has an expense ratio of 0.13% and has been around for almost 10 years, so has some good data so far. It has 101 total holdings. The current price is $87.36, and like I said before, it's up over 34% this year to date in 2024. The fund is built up of a more broad setup, which I prefer, so that it's not all in one sector like just technology or just semiconductor. This makes the fund a bit more safe as it's a little bit more diversified. Since it is a growth ETF, it's heavy in information technology, of course, but then also has some solid consumer discretionary, communication services, and also healthcare and industrials. The top holdings are big tech names like Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, and Broadcom, but then also solid companies like Berkshire Hathaway and JP Morgan. This is a great fund in many ways, mainly because it has a lower fee, but super solid appreciation numbers, and it invests in very reliable companies. Now, when investing, it's very important to understand what types of companies you're actually invested in. But first of all, thank you to the sponsor of this video, DemoStack. As a professor, I'm always working with my MBA students on better ways for them to give better presentations and for them to be able to go crush it in their sales pitches. For all my salespeople and entrepreneurs out there, this is going to be a game changer at your next meeting. DemoStack gives sellers the tools to independently and confidently demo their software on every call. With DemoStack, you can simplify your demo environment, customize a live demo, view demo data to analyze what's working and what's not, and it integrates well with Salesforce, HubSpot, and Slack. And all of this is possible with zero coding knowledge needed. Winning the sale is all about presentation, and this tool levels you up big time. Cut the demo pains. DemoStack is your demo operations platform, empowering sales leaders to accelerate sales cycles and win more deals. To find out more about DemoStack or to see it in action, go down to the link down in my description or go to demostack.com to see more. You just want to make sure that you're not investing all in the same exact area in all of your different investments. Many of the ETFs that I talk about on this channel have a lot of the same companies within them, since most of the ETFs I speak on are large cap companies. If I have a couple ETFs that all include the largest companies available in America, there's bound to be some overlap. When we look at the fund overlap tool on etfrc.com, we can see that if you invest in the S&P 500 and then a big growth ETF like QQQ, there's about 45% overlap, even though they're different types of funds. Now, this doesn't bother me much, and I do invest in both of those, and in other videos I explain why. But for those that want to truly diversify, we need to get outside of that idea of just investing in just large cap ETFs. So these next 2 funds are actually mid-cap funds. Large cap companies have a market value between $10 billion and $200 billion. Mid-cap companies have a market value between $2 billion and $10 billion. The next growth ETF on this list is called XMHQ, and it's the Invesco S&P Mid-Cap Quality ETF. XMHQ is currently $102.70 and for the past year is up over 32%. This one tracks the S&P Mid-Cap 400 Quality Index, which screens stocks based on fundamental factors and weights them using a multi-factor approach. XMHQ is passively managed and the equities are selected based on the highest quality score calculated by the following 3 equally weighted fundamental factors. Number 1 is return on equity, number 2 is accruals ratio, and 3 would be the financial leverage ratio. The expense ratio for this fund is 0.33%. This fund's been around for almost 20 years. Since 2006, it has 79 total holdings. As far as the PE ratio, I really like the low PE ratio here, as I'm always looking for a PE under 25, and this one has one just shy of 18. The sectors for XMHQ is a large portion in industrials, then consumer discretionary, then financials, and energy. The top holdings are strong quality companies like Williams-Sonoma, Reliance Inc., Watsco, and Celsius Holdings. When we look at the fund overlap tool like we did from before, if we're to look at VOO, or the S&P 500 versus XMHQ, there's literally a 0% overlap. So to truly diversify, this may be a very solid option for you in the growth section. The next ETF on this list is another mid-cap option for you to choose, and it's similar to that last one, but it also has some key differences that I want to highlight. This next one's actually a bit of the first two combined, which is actually pretty cool. XMMO is the Invesco S&P Mid-Cap Momentum ETF, and over the past year, it's up almost 48% with a current price of $114.17. Like I said before, it's similar to the first one in that it has the same momentum strategy. So it's picking some of the strongest companies with that designation. But then XMMO is similar to that last ETF in that it only invests in companies in that mid-cap range. So you can definitely diversify outside of large cap with this one as well. The expense ratio is 0.34%. The inception date was 2005 and it has a total of 79 holdings within this ETF. Just like the ETF prior, I like this PE ratio at under 25 with a solid 22.59. Over the last 5 years, it has had an average annual return of almost 17% per year, which is beautiful. The largest sectors here are industrials, then information technology, then consumer discretionary, then consumer staples. And the top holdings are companies like Lennox, Elf Beauty, Wingstop, and GoDaddy. The most important thing for you to figure out is where is there a hole in your portfolio and what's the best solution for that problem. You're going to want to increase upside while decreasing risk. Dive deeper into those 3 ETFs and then check out these videos next to help keep you going strong in your investing journey.